Hello grade 8 students, here is summary 5 for week 5 and in this video we'll solve worksheet 1 which is related to the QP that will be done next week, and the topics covered are self and non-self, cells, molecules and organs of the immune system, non-specific immune response. The concepts covered in this worksheet are: self refers to anything that belongs to my body, while non-self is everything that doesn't belong to my body. A graft is the transfer of an organ or a tissue from one organism, which is the donor, to another, which is the recipient, or within the same organism. Leukocytes such as macrophages, granulocytes, lymphocytes defend the body against the non-self antigens. The red bone marrow produces and matures all lymphocytes except T lymphocyte. The first line of defense in the body is the initial barrier against pathogens. The second line of defense is the body's response to the pathogen that break through the first line. Question 1. Indicate the true statements and correct the false ones. Vibrio cholera bacteria, a non-self organism, causes cholera. That's true. One antibody only recognizes a specific antigen. True. All blood cells are involved in immunity. False. White blood cells are involved in immunity. B lymphocytes have the ability to phagocyte. False. Macrophages have the ability to phagocyte. Question 2. In order to know the cause of graft rejection, 3 types of skin grafts were transplanted among mice of the same MHC or different MHC types. Mice A1 and A2 have MHC type A, whereas mouse B has MHC type B as shown in document 1. Pick out the objective of these experiments as mentioned in the text to know the cause of graft rejection. Identify the type of each of the applied grafts. We have to start with a justification because it's identify. So let's start with the graft 1. Since the first graft is done from one side to another within the same body, this is an autograft. Graft 2. As graft 2 is done from one mouse to another of the same MHC type, this is an isograft. Since the graft 3 is from a mouse to another mouse with different types of MHC, it is an allograft. We measured the percentage of living cells in each of the above grafts after 1 week, and the results obtained are shown in the document below. Okay. Compare the percentage of living cells among the grafts 1, 2, and 3. Compare, so we have to use more than, less than, and greater or equal to. We have to mention the percentage, the unit, and the numbers. So we have to say the percentage of living cells in grafts 1 and 2 after 1 week is 100%, greater than the percentage of living cells in graft 3, which is 30%. Conclude the rejected graft. We conclude that graft 3 is the rejected graft. Draw out the factor that plays a role in graft acceptance or rejection. The factor is the similarity between MHC types. Question 3. The thymus and the fabric spores are 2 organs of the immune system in chicken. In order to identify the role of the thymus and the fabric spores, 3 different experiments were conducted. In experiment 1, the ablation of the thymus of chicken A. In experiment 2, ablation of fabric spores of chicken B. Experiment 3, the thymus and the fabric spores of chicken C were not removed. Pose the problem. So we have to pose it. What is the function of the thymus and the fabric spores? And don't forget the question mark. Okay? Here they didn't say pick out, pose, because the problem is not found in the text. It's in a way objective, so we change it into a question form. Indicate the variable factor between experiments 1 and 3 and experiments 2 and 3. Okay, the variable factor between in experiments 1 and 3 is the thymus, since the thymus is present in a chicken C, whereas it's ablated from chicken A. So the thymus. The variable factor between experiments 2 and 3 is the fabric spores, since the fabric spores is present in a mouse in chicken C and it's ablated from a chicken B. Analyze experiment 1. Okay, let's analyze it. In experiment 1, the thymus was removed and they noticed that no T lymphocytes were produced. So we can say the ablation of the thymus in experiment 1 leads to the absence of T lymphocytes. Or if we want to start from the result, we can say no T lymphocytes were produced after the ablation of the thymus. Derive a conclusion concerning the role of thymus in chicken. We conclude that the thymus produces T lymphocytes. Refer to experiment 2 to specify the role of fabric spores. Specify, so we have to start from the answer, then we justify. Okay, in experiment 2, they removed the fabric spores from the chicken and they noticed that no B lymphocytes were produced. So the fabric spores produces B lymphocytes since the ablation of the fabric spores in experiment 2 leads to absence of B lymphocytes. As you see here, the justification, it is like we are analyzing. So the best way to justify is to analyze. Question 4. In general, the body is protected against infections by natural barriers. To test this hypothesis, a group of 8th grade students conducted the following experiments. Experiment 1, mouse A, healthy with healthy skin. The treatment is, or the experiment, put a layer of bacteria on the skin of the mouse, and the result, the mouse stays healthy. Experiment 2. Mouse B is healthy with injured skin. Put a layer of bacteria on the skin of the mouse. The mouse becomes sick. Experiment 3. Mouse C is healthy. Introduce some bacteria in the digestive tract of the mouse. The mouse stays healthy. Pick out from the text the tested hypothesis. We write hypothesis. In general, the body is protected against infections by natural barriers. Don't forget to write hypothesis. Analyze experiment 1. We can say, after putting a layer of bacteria on the skin of mouse A, which is healthy with a healthy skin, the mouse stays healthy. So here we started from the variable, then the result. Interpret experiment 2. Interpret, so we have to analyze experiment 2, then this indicates that. Let's analyze experiment 2. After putting a layer of bacteria on the skin of the mouse B, which is healthy with injured skin, the mouse becomes sick. This is the analyze. Now you have to write this indicates that. This indicates that the skin plays an important role in the protection against bacteria. Formulate a hypothesis to explain the result obtained in experiment 3. In experiment 3, they introduced bacteria into the digestive tract of the mouse and the mouse stays healthy. So we can say the hypothesis is that bacteria act on the skin and not on the digestive tract. Or you can say that the digestive system is protected against bacteria. Okay. That's all about worksheet 1. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.